A new photo surfaced of YNW Melly in court. Posted to his official Instagram, we see YNW Melly sitting in the courtroom, smiling and looking very confident. Even with YNW Melly wearing his famous permanent diamond grills, it still isn't really looking like the YNW Melly most fans are used to seeing. YNW Melly is looking very happy in court, as the trial for his case is about to begin. YNW Melly's trial is in the beginning stages of jury selection. Once jury selection is completed, the official trial will then start. A jury selection for a case involving the passing of two individuals can take some time. Especially with YNW Melly being a famous rapper, you need to ensure that no one on the jury is a fan of his. The YNW Melly trial was supposed to begin over a month ago. Sadly, hard evidence on YNW Melly made it get pushed back. According to Complex, the lead detective on the case said in a deposition that YNW Sack Chaser was set to receive around $200,000 from his record label. This record label in question is known as 300 Entertainment. The police attempted to subpoena 300 Entertainment during their investigation in order to investigate this, but the detective explained that the company refused to honor our subpoena. YNW Sack Chaser's mother, Jana Thompson, expanded on the $200,000 payment in a March 2022 deposition. Though she specified that she didn't know exactly who the alleged payment was from or who it was for, she said that her son reached out to her a few days before he had passed. She says, and I quote, "My son hysterically called me. She said he was very concerned about my whereabouts. He was concerned about his sister's whereabouts. He's just very concerned. Like something is gonna happen to us. And he told me that he would not get his money." As she continued saying, he said, "I'm probably not going to get my $200,000. I'm probably not gonna get my money, Mom." So around the time that YNW Sack Chaser sadly passed, his music career was just starting to take flight. Dropping hit songs such as Tropical and Back End, it got the attention of YNW Melly and his music label. According to records, they claim that YNW Melly did the act towards YNW Sack Chaser to avoid paying him $200,000 to join his record label. So if this turns out to be true, YNW Melly will be eligible for the penalty, as he used money as a motive for this act. Now this explains why the prosecutors aren't interested in putting YNW Melly behind bars for life. Instead, they want the penalty against him, as the parents of YNW Juvie and Sack Chaser want justice for what happened to their boys. YNW Sack Chaser's mother spoke about her son's situation with YNW Melly a little deeper. We see YNW Melly's lawyers ask Sack Chaser's mom this: "I would like you to tell me what information you have gathered to show that this felony was committed for pecuniary gain." Sack Chaser's mother's lawyers reply, "Please tell me what your definition of pecuniary gain is." With Melly's lawyers saying, "By statute, it means he committed this crime to make money." With a response saying, "Well, there was, as you know, in throughout a search warrant through Facebook, as well as through Jana Williams' testimony, there was money that was being brought to or was going to be awarded to Anthony Williams, aka YNW Sack Chaser. Mr. Williams was supposed to get $200,000 and was in text messages and also I believe Facebook messaging, as well as the mother's testimony, and that money apparently was never obtained by Mr. Williams." Melly's lawyers reply, "Okay, do you know who was going to allegedly pay $200,000 to Mr. Williams?" With them replying, "Well, I believe it was going to go through the record label. How it's paid out, that I don't know." All of this information was released to the courtroom in March 2022. After this evidence was released, this photo of YNW Melly was taken. Now, as you can see, this photo of Melly, it doesn't really look like YNW Melly anymore. YNW Melly's reaction from in-court witnesses say that he was very nervous, playing with his fingers a lot, and kinda not paying attention to what was going on. Now, YNW Melly in this court session was told that his date was being pushed back to May 23rd, which at the time of this recording is in a month. Now, it was pushed back due to the large sum of evidence that I shared earlier. YNW Melly and his lawyers now have time to come up with a defense against it. Sadly, there was another 66 pages of evidence handed to the judge. Here's what some of them said. In the new pages of evidence, they're claiming that after running ballistics reports, all signs of who did the act towards Juvie and Sackchaser were sitting in YNW Melly's seat inside of the Jeep. So here's a quick photo of where everyone was sitting inside of the car. YNW Bortland, being the driver of the vehicle, had YNW Melly sitting directly behind him. This leaves YNW Juvie and Sackchaser on the opposite side of the car. So using what's called the stick method, a law enforcement agent sat where YNW Melly was sitting. They then used plastic sticks to match the trajectory of the firearm that could have been used from Melly's seat. So the trajectory from YNW Melly's seat showed a perfect match to where YNW Juvie and YNW Sackchaser were affected once they were brought to the hospital and examined. Also, in the new evidence reports, it claims that once the act was done inside of the vehicle, law enforcement were able to use YNW Melly's cell phone as a GPS tracking device. They were able to see YNW Melly stepping out of the vehicle once they believed the act was done and walking around it in a weird circle motion. So the theory is, after the act was done inside of the vehicle, YNW Melly then stepped out of the car. He then walked around it and roughed it up from the outside using his firearm to make it appear as if they went through a drive-by. Now this theory seems true, as the shells from the firearm they found outside on the pavement ends up matching the shells that were found under the floor mats where YNW Melly was sitting. And the one piece of evidence that everyone finds very strange is that after the act was done, YNW Bortland ends up driving Juvie and Sackchaser to the nearest hospital for medical attention. At the hospital, this is where YNW Bortland tells law enforcement that they were just in a drive-by and that their two best friends need help. Well, while Bortland was going there, YNW Melly was sprinting home on foot. Yes, you heard me right. With GPS evidence, law enforcement were able to find out YNW Melly didn't even go get medical attention with his two best friends. Instead, YNW Melly sprinted home on foot, which seems very strange. So with everything looking very concerning for YNW Melly, this is when we saw his mother and brother, YNW Slime, do an interview on YouTube. She disclosed information that many believe she wasn't supposed to say. YNW Melly's mother, while on the We in Miami podcast, was asked this question: how is YNW Melly holding up while in jail? She then replies, he's doing good. He always calls and he's always in good spirits. He then asks, when can we expect YNW Melly to come home? After some awkward silence and YNW Slime clearing his throat, she then replies, the month of May, but if a grand jury is picked fast, then April. The awkward silence plus YNW Slime clearing his throat during the middle of it suggests that she wasn't supposed to answer that question. Now this could be another reason as to why YNW Melly ended up calling out his mom through a jail phone not too long ago, calling her a liar and that she's crazy. Now after listening to all of the evidence, do you believe YNW Melly will be released? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.